We love you. We love you too, Freddie, the friendly guy. I paid your car payment today. Well, welcome to that one as well. Now, we just spun the money there, Monty. Thank you so much for all the love there in the chat as we continue to throw down every single day on the show. So hopefully you guys are able to see this, see the trades in there. And if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please put them in the chat because that's really what we're here for, is to help, well, I'm here to trade, but, you know, if we're going to do it in front of you, that's even better. You might as well take some questions while we're at it. There it is right now. Nice move up. Look at that for Apple. Booyaka. There it is right now, putting it into our pipe again for Apple, all the way up to 77s as we continue to go. And there goes AMD one more time. Thank you so much, Jara TV, all that kind of nice talk there in the chat. We put a lot of work into what we're doing here every single day, and I do appreciate all the love as we all do. So yeah, triple, quad, they kind of changed those names of that witching. So
it's all
find out what it is right there. But that's what we're doing, man. We're bringing the pain every single day, regardless of witching or not.
Yeah, exactly. It's just another reason to look at the market for extra volatility, and that's all you really care about at the end of the day on Friday. But we got to get to Friday first. Right? Like, forget about Friday, forget about ARM expiration tomorrow, forget about next week, Reddit IPO. Those are all exciting events. Well, that's right. Reddit. We didn't even mention that this morning. Reddit is on Friday or Thursday.
That was such an easy talk.
Check that, Thursday of next week. It's Reddit IPO, I want to say. But the AMD, we had one trade when it set up underneath the pre-market low, and then it just set up there at VWAP underneath 200, was able to get to the 99s again. Boeing is continuing to flush. I still own some of this in my long-term account. And part of me was going to sell this if it broke that level. I obviously didn't. I would have told you guys if I did. But Boeing, flat bottom break. Support is right here at 189, 190. If you go back to November, if it can't hold on to that, I think Boeing, well, it's already in trouble. It's already a disaster. But yeah, looking for short pops on Boeing as it continues to absolutely flutter. 193 would be the entry point that we try to take. I mentioned that there was some weakness in Pinduoduo relative to Alibaba. That's still true, and it's making lower highs. Might look at a VWAP retrace on PDD, up 2.5%, but it's been down only since the open.
I just realized we didn't have a stop here for Apple, but we just took a whole bunch out. Like, it just ripped up into the 70s again. A lot of our outs are in the 50s here. We didn't max out this trade, not even close, on Apple as it's falling back in right now. So, well, I don't know, man. Like, we talked about a negative market here today. It's down 0.5% since we talked about it. And it's at lows. So I feel like we've been 100% right in calling this bear market here today, considering where bearish activity. This is not really, this doesn't feel overly bearish in my opinion, but it is to the downside right now. Apple's still trying to hold out, but there it is right now, 18,144. Yeah, I think it's pretty bearish.
I really do.
Yeah, but this is why we're making the money on all of these trades. You know, it's like when you have an idea about what you want to do, this is what you have to do. Is Walmart a buy here? What's up, Killer Cam?
Where's
Killer
Walmart
Cam. Is it a buy at 60?
180's on.
Yeah, 180 is 60, of course. Okay, so the dollar's flying, says T-Money. What's up, T-Money? Tesla's at VWAP as well. Look, like, for those of you just watching me here, I'm kind of in chill mode. So I'm going to be offering here some 40s for Apple. I'm also at 49 as well. So if we get that fill, we'll just do that and we'll just start to top it out. It's only 10:14. I want some more for sure. But at the same time, like, we're down here. We're trying to figure it out. We've got one long. We've got one short. And then what's Nvidia doing now again?
60.
860. So Nvidia's not really doing anything right now. It's been doing a lot today. Topped out at 875 a couple times and didn't really bottom until we broke through that 850. Had one crazy wick down there to 840, and then we went from 840 to 875. And we talked about this in 3 minutes. We went $40, and then we did fall back in, and we just ho-hummed it and took advantage of this name and put this to number one. So far so good there. Look at iBit, man. Wow. Now wish we would have had a little bit more on that one there. We talked about, I think we talked about getting out at $40.75 anyways. So the fact that we got out at the 200 period break is fine by me.
If it fail breaks this high.
But we will have a red name and it'll be iBit because we don't have an out higher than where we got in. So that's going to be a bad one for us. But I still do like it, and maybe Coinbase at some point as well.
So I just got into Tesla off that VWAP, but if it can't bounce here, I do favor the shorts. But there's only 3 names out of the, it's a 3 Mag 7 names that were all pretty weak the last little bit. I think those are the ones that I like for bounces. We already tried Google, can't hold on Tesla. We'll have to move on, but the market is trying to bounce. I'm looking for a failed breakout of the fresh high on IBIT because wicking these tops for a scalp short has been working. But it has to show you, try to take the top, get a couple cents higher, maybe get from 41.40, break it, fail 50s, and then come back in and try and get it into VWAP. Like that's what I'd be looking for on IBIT. Whoa, AMD just broke VWAP. This is why you take profit. Now you've got some higher lows. We reshorted in front of 200, got it down to 199.80, and we're breaking 200. So I jam out and wait for the next trade, which would be back up here at that open range top at the 203 level. So preserving a little bit of capital there. Tesla starting to bounce off of VWAP. Hasn't really gotten that far. It needs to get into that 181. Then we can take some profit. I feel like this IBIT did not break the high. Got to the high, tagged it, but no break. So you can't have a false break if you don't get a break in the first place.
All right, we can cancel our ARM stop there. What a good out on ARM to the downside, and what a good hold on AMD, except for the fact that we didn't reload it up there at 201. So we should have obviously did that. We did not. Oh well. And look what's happening to Apple right now. It is starting to get right back up to the upside. So spin it one more time on Apple there as that's starting to go, and patience is the key to this game here today for sure. SoFi is starting to go. Yeah, we have CPI and PPI this week. SOFI.
SoFi.
Yeah, big move down today for SoFi. Again, you know, it's not too big as it's only 1%, but it is straight to the downside right now. And I mean, I was only going to look at this because if you see where you're coming in right now into 760, like that could be a hold. Whoops, right there. So we've held this a couple times, 750 basically. So that's what we're doing right now on SoFi into these levels. That's just a 20-minute chart, but you're trying to head right into that one right now on SoFi.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Snapchat and Meta and all.
No, I didn't mean Snapchat. Rivian broke 13.
Oh, there goes AMD.
I just realized if I say oh snap, then you're going to think I was talking about Snapchat. No, Rivian broke the 13 level. I just got 1301 sit alongside, although you don't yet see it.
No.
It'll update in a second. It just broke. There you go. You'll see it update. As we just got some Tesla out off the highs, but 13 just broke out. As far as where it could go, I mean, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but the tops on Friday was 1350. So that puts a nice bow on any kind of a target you might put in there. If it gets to 1350, you know my style. I'm out of almost all of it at that price. I like to play inside of that range if we can. So new position is a second long. How am I long?
Oh, Apple.
How am I only 2 longs right now? So we just got to fill on Tesla. We'll ring the register there in front of 181. And now Rivian long. Hey, at least we're consistent in a couple of EV names. But I want to get some chip shorts again.
Yeah, we got a nice trading going on right now as well. We've got Apple to the long side, but we just did get hit on AMD. We talked about that, breaking through 201. So again, we're just going to try the short. Doesn't work, and we're going to get out. So I still feel like it could work, but hey, if the market wants to rally back a little bit here, we will try to give it that space to do that.
Nvidia is near the high.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe some of these chip names are a little bit overcooked, and that wouldn't surprise me if they were, I mean, to the downside, right? So let's see what happens. Now let's give this one to 201.50. If it breaks higher than that, then we'll get out. So we'll re-enter into a short here on AMD, put a little bit of money down and see if it wants to get down into the 60s, into the 50s, and then back into 200. And, you know, if that happens, then, you know, we'll make back a little bit of that dancing that we did right there. Because we kept getting out at 201, 201.10, 201.15, like give it a little bit of room. But there's not really too much point in giving this too much room because the way this is moving, when you're wrong, it's just going to go. So it's not, you know, you can't really outsmart this name here today. Don't average into it. Take the wins when they're there, right? And then let them settle down when they're not. So right now, AMD, we'll pull it back in. We're short now at 90s.
Why is Amazon so weak?
It's at, Amazon's weak as well. Amazon I liked for the strength. Oh, 172, okay. So this was another name, good call on that one. Down to 171.50. Maybe we should be picking this one up as well. But there we go. Nice trade back in for AMD. So that's that trade we're talking about. And we also got out of Apple up there at 65 or something like that. Yes, whatever this is, 60, yeah, 65, 66, as that's starting to print. And then there we go. AMD gives me that 64 print, and then right back up to O's again, and now try to take out the top. So yeah, take your profits where they lie. VWAP would be really nice if we can get down for AMD down to 200. Here it comes, down to 200 and change for AMD. We might just put a bid out immediately right now. We're at $200.20. Just keeps on bouncing off right now. Here it comes. All right, let's go. Maybe we'll get this. Go, come in. Oh, we almost did. Right there, let me put a bid at 35 and see if we can get that. All right, lots of action over here. Let's just go over to Adara, and then we'll be able to come back. She's over there at the screen.
IWM, Russell 2000, trying to recover a little bit, but still down about 80% on the day, or sorry, 0.8% of the day. So weak alongside a lot of these other names that we're seeing right now. But there are some exceptions here in the small cap moves to the upside, including TCBP. This is TC Biopharma. Not seeing any particular catalyst on this, but they do have a float of about 750,000 shares. So very low float runner here in TCBP. We also have here Mesoblast, MESO, this one announcing that the FDA has supported accelerated approval pathways for one of their treatments for a specific kind of heart failure. So nice look here as well for MESO, up over 30%. Last but not least here, LM Funding America, LMFA. This is a Bitcoin-related name. Just basically providing their monthly update for their operations, including 26.9 Bitcoin mined in the month of February. So nice look here for LMFA as well, guys.
All right. Well,
Save.
yeah, I don't have, we just, AMD went that basically that dollar. I mean, it's $1 right now. It's 80 cents in the money. We took that out at VWAP. We talked about that. So that's going to be a nice move upside. Apple, I just kind of want to leave it alone. If it does fall back in here, it falls back in. I'd much rather just play this short. I feel like AMD is really the cash cow here for me today. So is ARM. They're all fine. It's just really, it's this one. So here we go. AMD, another move to the downside. Microsoft is still a short. Look, they're all still shorts. I've been raising capital here for a minute on some of these names. And it's because the market's pretty heated. We're starting to come back in a little bit. We dropped, 1.3 on Friday, something like that. And then now we're down another 0.7 here today. So it's not like we're getting crazy to the downside, but, some names you're going to want to start to look for, possible areas to start picking them up. And Microsoft maybe in and around 400. I could see some traders getting somewhat interested in there. So, watch out for that. And then the other name that I wanted to look at quickly before we go back was going to be Costco, down another 2% here today off of a 6 or 7% move there off earnings. Nice little kick down. And then Uber was another name that I'm pretty interested in on the downside as well. So here's what's happening, man. We're starting to get some of those discounts, right, that we've talked about. So making me a little nervous about Oracle earnings coming up this week, tonight, as we've bought that name. I mean, I'm only long at like 107, 108. It's not like it's been bad. Like if I bought Nvidia the day I bought Oracle, we would have been laughing, right? But Oracle right now, nicely done to the upside. We bought it into this dip right here. We've actually bought it before then. This dip went all the way to 118, back in and double topped again at 118 ahead of earnings. Not super excited, I must admit, about Oracle. So we'll wait to see what that hits through today. But yeah, man, good day so far. Meta, Tisha, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sometimes the best thing you can do is have a stop, don't fight it. Tesla, we got to bounce off VWAP.
I like that.
It turns around right there at like 72 or 73. Was able to get profit out on it and then just stop it out. Do not let that turn into a mess. We just jump out of Tesla. All of a sudden, underneath VWAP and weak, Rivian is holding. So it actually broke higher and then held this 1310. It looks like it couldn't get past, but then wick to 95s, which is oddly enough where my stop is underneath. If this holds on 95, I guess we're still going to be into Rivian. ARM did not give us a chance to get back into it, unfortunately. But if you're still looking at Meta, Meta, no VWAP push yet. It's trying to hold 476 is the current low of the day. You're not getting much in terms of pops to be able to join this to the south side. VWAP now sits at 484. I do want to short the pop. We'll see if we have a chance to get it. Palantir was strong, and then all of a sudden, even what was strong has turned weak. Maybe you can get VWAP in there. I like failed breakouts because the names that were breaking out and trap some people in breakout trades, they can be good to short the pop, because if people start to take their profits out when it gets to VWAP, they're happy. Not profits, they're able to take something out that they might be bag holding from earlier in the morning. you get those sells back into VWAP. That's if you can even get it. So I'm looking to short pops on Meta, looking to try to grab back in AMD. I've only taken 2 swings at it when they both set up. And if a third one happens, there's 2 ways it could play. We could play right back in here off the 3 to 4 level, or it could be right at this 01, but I need that one to set up in AMD. So we're just into Rivian, that 13 break, Friday's high. Sorry, Friday's resistance level. The actual high is 1350. Afternoon resistance was 13.
Maybe SoFi went down too far here.
Why? Where'd it go?
Yeah, it didn't go down too far. It just maybe went down too far. Like only down 0.5%. But 760, 765 maybe there for Rivian. Still watching AMD and Nvidia. Nvidia is still doing a little bit of a dance. Pretty happy with getting out of Apple there. We still do have, we talked about not having a stop for Apple, but you know what? I mean, just this bottom is fine for me. Where is that? That's 172.90 right there for Apple. So we'll try, 172.90. We might as well try another bid down here if we can get it. So we'll try one more bid down here, put the stop in at 172 here. Sorry about that.
Oh, no.
Put it on your screen here.
Oh.
172.
I'm blaming the state of New York on the keystroke I just made.
89, something like that. Okay, we'll see what happens right now as everything's starting to fall down. So here we go. $1 in right now on AMD as this is starting to go upside or downside, sorry. And then we'll watch out for Apple as we got reloaded right now into Apple. Nice little upside. Okay, here we go. Yes, sir. That's a good one. We'll take that, man. Nice little bump up there for Apple. Let's go, man. That was a good take. We weren't too excited about this trade, but now we're getting much more into it. Okay, Apple, good. All right, so there you go. Seems like everything we're touching right now is turning into gold, it feels like, but we'll just wait for this Apple. Maybe it goes up, maybe it doesn't, but right now it's just cash cow central, and we're just going to try to stack it higher and higher here as we wait to see what this market wants from us. But right now, it's a nice move up for Apple off of 173. How many times? 3 reloads down here. Let's just keep taking it, get it in, get it in, get it in, then get it out. And that's what we're doing right now with Apple.
Phrasing. But I just, no, I like it. Rivian, I made a bit of a keystroke error just there. I'm going to blame daylight savings time on it. But already had an offer and then went to cancel the offer and then put a different one in. It ended up making the smart mistake of not canceling and then throwing an offer out. So instead of not getting anything until it got to 20s, I end up like double outing. I still have a piece, but it's a small piece on Rivian. It just got up 13 to 13, 15, so it's already given you a decent size move. I think the quarters could be next. We'll see what happens. There is this halt trade in here. I saw it, Tisha Perkins. I also have a halt scanner up as well for this ENCP. It's done 100,000 in volume. That's a hard pass. It's a hard pass. When you've halted multiple times and you've done 100,000 in volume, that means there's no liquidity. No liquidity means no trade. But the tap, I'd say, is relatively irrelevant right now because it halted at 12.30 and the theoretical auction price is $39. So I'm going to assume that there is a real problem with liquidity for this stock, whatever ENCP is. But 100,000 means I'm not trading it. I don't see how you can get in and out of that and not get rinsed. You can't really mitigate risk if you have no idea what price you're going to get when a level goes, and that's what would happen on a stock like that. ARM is back into these highs. I have not traded it since we had the 127.5 a couple times, and it's getting right back into this 127.5. So we'll let it get back up into this. My stop is at the high of the day, which is 128.15. If it doesn't break that, then we're looking to re-engage the short on ARM. So just the Rivian long, which is working. And I don't know if AMD is going to give me the fill back in. I think ARM will come first. It's a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's funny because like the only two, like I was saying, like the 2 biggest stocks here is going to be AMD and ARM, and this is like the same ones we're talking about. But hey, man, this is why we do things like the sticky note. You know, like take the time to go and do some research and find things that you like and that you trust. And you know, I get the watchlist.tradertv.live, then I try to find some names on there. So there's AMD and ARM. Right, we're not in Baba. There's Rivian. Shout out to Renata as well. I said long 1250. The bottom was 1255. She nailed that. Congratulations to Renata for that one as well. And then we had Amazon up here as well as a buy. So that one we didn't look at yet because of the way this market was. Oh yeah, and then we also did talk about too that we felt like bearish to start here on the market, so we won't look long until certain levels hit. But that did hit there for Rivian, so we should have probably been in that one. So that's my bad again on that, as we will wait to see what happens now with Rivian. Hopefully going back up, as I know Neil's long on that one, so we'll hope for that. And then, you know, we're going to end the day at our highest spot. You know, I mean, it's only still 30 minutes to go, but I feel pretty comfortable because we're short AMD and then we're long this bad boy right here as Apple continues to try to go higher. Let's just take a 42. Why not? There it is. Someone said their favorite's the cash cow. So there it is right there again. Boom. And that's what it's been like today. You know, no losing names here. We did lose on iBit. Actually, so we do have one losing name. This was right here earlier on. We got out of this immediately, but then it started to rip back up to the upside. So far, so good there today. PIK, yeah, that was one of those other names.
That small cap.
Yeah, it's a little small cap name that was moving around. We gained some love for that in the chat as well. 7-11 here for PIK, up 157%. And the NASDAQ is trying to bounce off VWAP right now, trying to go long.
Watch out, Nvidia's got a flat top.
Yeah, I just saw that because here comes AMD again, all the way to the upside. So good job taking out some of that. Let's get a little bit more into AMD, but we're watching out for this top take. And hey, if the market continues to rip, I'm down with that, man, because I feel like we got a real strong name here in Apple. And we're only 70 cents right now in the money on that one as well. And there's the reload in AMD. Let's see if we can get some more profit on this name, as we're going to go a little scalpy here on half of these as we go over to the desk with Adara.
One crypto name to talk about today is, of course, going to be MicroStrategy, up 9%, set for its fourth positive day in the row. Here is MSTR. This one acquiring $821.7 million worth of Bitcoins. That amounts to about 12,000 Bitcoin, bringing the total holdings for MicroStrategies up to around 205,000 Bitcoin, according to Bloomberg report. So nice look here for MSTR, up almost 9%. Bitcoin itself making new all-time highs here, trading above that 72,000 area. So after these fall that we had on Friday, once we hit that 70,000, Bitcoin picking right back up here. Nice look for BTC. Also a nice look for these other names as well. Ethereum up well above that 4,000 level now, up about 3.5%. Solana up almost 4%. Ripple up almost 2%. Cardano up 2 1/3%. So good look for a lot of these other crypto coins as well. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders. Just use the code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
So of course, I don't get the fill. We're talking about spreads and slippage and all that good stuff. But when you're in position and a stop goes, if you miss your stop, if you get slipped, that's just extra that you lose. But if you're trying to get the other direction, the problem is, like, you then don't get the trade on the long. So I did not get that 875. Like, Nvidia was a flat top breakout and it just took out 75, went straight to 80. Now the 880 break is there. So we'll see if we can get that. But yeah, we didn't get the last break. It doesn't mean you don't throw the order out there though. I mean, you just kind of hope to get the fill when you have a breakout trade. You get it or you don't get it. For your stop order, you want to hit because you just want to get out wherever it happens to be. So we missed the 75. We'll see if we get 880. It's now all of a sudden you're flying to the upside on Nvidia and some other chip names.
Yeah, shout out to you, Fonzie, and everybody out there as well. Yeah, I mean, we got short and we got out. We talked about what we were doing right now, and like I said, we'll still keep, you know, very positive day, and we will not right now finish at the top because we got hit there on AMD. And you know what? As the market goes to the upside, look, man, this little proxy that we had is definitely not a proxy at all. As you can see right now, Apple not going up. Whoop. Meanwhile, chip names continue to fly high as well. So, yeah, we're going to have to watch all of this. What's up, Adara?
Interesting look here for KC. This is Kingsoft Cloud Holdings. Got a upgrade here from JP Morgan to overweight, but a price target decrease to $4.20. Jeffrey also reducing its price target here for KC, but either way, this name up about 30% here, guys.
So just as quickly as it broke out on Nvidia, that 880 level, this is hard to see because, I mean, it was down at $845, so the scaling's going to be a little bit jacked up on this. It got all the way to 883. I took a couple of bucks on it, and then it came right back flushing through. So the breakout trade has come and gone very quickly, but it's still, I think it's a relatively strong name. I just, the breakout there. If I like an 875, I'm not going to like 880 better than I like 875. I thought 875 is easier to hold than the 880. So I'll look for a dip back into 75 if I'm going to get into Nvidia to the long side. So that takes me back to only being in Rivian, which is now at 1330. The high on Friday for Rivian was 13. I said 50, but it's like 55. A distinction without a difference. I think it gets up there, and you're probably looking for a little bit of a turn on Rivian. So I'll check back in. Nvidia, I think, because it went back green again, the fear with this is when the dip buyers come into Rivian when it looked like a weekday, is that it's going to start ripping faces off. Nvidia is a kind of stock that if it holds on to VWAP and stair steps it up, it's going to trap some people that look for a continuation of Friday's action. I was in AMD when 875 broke on Nvidia, so I did take this hit, shorted essentially 01s, and then got out when it broke that local high, which is at 01.5. But then I missed the 875 long. If I'd gotten the 875 long, we'd be laughing. But unfortunately, hey, you throw a stop order, doesn't mean you're going to get the fill necessarily. If you use a limit order like I do, then you're prone to getting missed sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's...
like we do, I should say. I mean, no one really here uses market orders. So.
No. Well, I use a market order once it breaks a key level. That's why I got a $3 slippage on Nvidia the other day, which was the best slippage I could have got because it went down another $8 or something off that break.
Yeah,
so,
was it 92s when I looked at almost instantly?
Yeah, you do play around with that a little bit here. Okay, so I'm actually going to cancel my... Well, we'll wait. I don't know. I don't know if about being short Meta and being long Apple at the same time makes a whole heck of a lot of sense other than I'm just trading off of levels. Meta comes right into VWAP again right now, so we're going to go short. We're short at 484.60.
Well, it's got to VWAP.
Well, I mean, you can get it now if you want. It's not the greatest. But we'll wait right now to see where it goes. There it is. Nice little move downside for Meta as we're now starting to crack a lack, hopefully to the downside, but there it is. Push in, we get 484 flat, and now there it is. Holy crap, look at this name getting excited. We just said we may not be at day's high when the market ends, but then guess what? The golden touch happens right there on Meta, and now it's flushing down $1.50 right there for us on Meta. Let's see how low can it go right now for Meta. We'll take another bid now, and then we'll see if we can hold the rest. As Meta right there, instantly right up the leaderboard on one trade goes Meta, but as fast as it goes up, it could come rifling. As fast as it goes down, it can come rifling right back up. So there it is. We'll take another bid right there for $1.50. It's Meta, and it's fantastic right there. The only problem now is what are we going to do with Apple as that's coming back in? I know what. Let's take a piece out here before it breaks lower. But right now, there's Meta, the newest victim right there. Another $2 winner on board there for Meta. So boom goes the dynamite. Let's see how low Meta can go, down to 476 META.
Bye, Meta.
Yeah, let's see if it breaks, man.
Well, I think it might. It's one of the weakest names out there, but you'll see I have no positions. That means what? That means that Rivian got to 13, almost 1350. It just spiked, got to 1343, and a little bit of a pullback in there, but I'm not going to look the gift horse in the mouth. We thought this to Friday's high. It just made that other push into fresh highs on Rivian. Like to take those target outs, kind of stick to what works for me. I've been saying that's been working, so I'm going to stick to that. It's been a productive morning. I'll tell you right now, if you look at what's going on in crypto, Coinbase is weak. I know it's up 3.5%, but you're getting lower highs put in on Coinbase. Meanwhile, on BTC, on Bitcoin, you're actually holding around 72. It's trying to put in a higher low. If Bitcoin retraces back to the morning lows, then coin couldn't really couldn't break above VWAP. And I look at this 267 to 268. Don't wonder if there's not a shorting opportunity over there in Coinbase relative to BTC. BTC is actually starting to come back down in. So coin looks like a short off that 267 for me. I'm out of Rivian. If I get back in, it's got to be VWAP. I think that's the next place we'll go hunting. Boeing, by the way, shout out to you, Yanis, in the chat. It is almost at VWAP. Not quite, but it's getting pretty close. We do want the next curl, but if it doesn't get to VWAP, then who cares? Didn't get to VWAP the first time. So a weak stock might not get back to VWAP on a bounce. And if it curls at 192, then I'll take the 192. We got out of that one a little bit too early.
Hey, thank you, Daryl, for your nice comments there about Meta. Thank you, Monty G, for the fire comments as well. It means a lot to be able to give trades, especially when they work. So there's a good one there. And then look what just happened to Apple. you know, while Neil was speaking there, we talked about trying to get out, and look what just happened. We were able to get out. Like, we got some out at 10s, we got some out at 03s and 04s, and we held half of it, and then got that out for the loser there on Apple as it's breaking lower, lower, lower. But hey, we can't be any happier than we are right now on Meta. I mean, this is 480. I think we can really, I mean, if this market really, okay, I'm going to cancel. We're now $3 in the money here on Meta and could get a lot more spicy. We're going to do sector watch, and then when we get back, we'll talk about what's for lunch. I think you might like it today, so stay tuned for that one as we get ready to go. I think you'll like it too, Rob. So stay tuned. What's for lunch coming up after the break? Let's go over to Adara.
The Meta and TikTok situation actually being discussed right now in CNBC, so just be aware of that. Basically, some comments coming out of former President Donald Trump with regards to Facebook being bad for the country and an enemy to the people. So Meta here to the downside. Google and Apple, two of the few positive names here in this mega cap tech space. Generally, the technology services and electronic technology sectors, both very much to the downside. Health technology, Eli Lilly leading this group to the downside overall. Finance a little bit more mixed week. Producer manufacturing weak. Commercial services weak. Retail trade pretty weak across the board here. Costco second day to the downside after its earnings. But it is worth noting we have some strength here in consumer non-durables. Procter & Gamble here getting an upgrade from Truist and leading this group a little bit to the upside. Tesla also an upside move here in consumer durables with an update on the situation with that Germany plant, guys.
All right. Some Germany.
Moderna's up 11% today.
Yeah,
this
man.
is like I have a couple of
Biotech.
like shot plays in my TFS, shot plays in air quotes. I mean, shot plays a shot play. I don't need to put air quotes up in my TFSA. This is one of them that like, whatever. Like, it's either this stock is going to double or triple, forget about double, probably triple, or it's going to absolutely flush me out. That's the kind of bucket that I think this one should be in. We'll see what happens. AMD is back up to 202. Anyways, 203 has been the spot. If it gets back and does another curl, I'll look to short that. We're trying to grab Boeing on this last little curl. Don't want to chase it down. I'm at 191 and a half. Looking for the short in front of 192 on Boeing. That has been an absolute flush pretty much all day long after what? Flat bottom break on Boeing. And look, I like the stock too. I own it in my long term. I don't like what's happening. But if you cannot see that on a chart and then don't look for the short, I mean, it's been support for quite some time. It's not that I think it's heading down to 175, but that will be the logical level if it continues to go lower here. So trying to short the pop here in Boeing. It's been productive, but the market's heading back up to these highs. I just got out of my last long on Rivian, and we'll look for hopefully what isn't the last short in AMD through that 203.
All right, guys. Who's selling what? Oh, we got out, by the way, Meta. So Meta broke back above 484. So I took another piece there at 484. Just didn't want it to get back going there. I don't like that news. I mean, now it's way back down. So we'll give up $1. My bad on that one. But the thing is like I didn't like whatever Adara. I couldn't really hear exactly, but what you're talking about President Trump and Meta. So I'm going to hold off on that. I mean, we've already got it's already $2 in the money. We've already taken it out. Meta will be P&L 3 here today. Still ARM, still holding out hope as this has been can you believe we had the top of the morning and the bottom there? We don't have that very first candle down there at 932, but the fact that we traded it like this is exactly the way we want to do it. Scalp out early, hold for a big move, hit some key levels, then bounce. So that's exactly what we're doing, and it's a good one there today. So you guys want to talk about Roblox right now? Okay, we can talk about Roblox.
5% for
42. Good job, man. We actually bought some Roblox down at 38. Good level there, but not recently. It was down into this dump. We didn't get that. We didn't buy it a couple days ago. We would have told you. We've been buying Roblox down into here. So let's see if it can continue to work out. I like the quarter, daily active users. The Lord knows I spend enough money on Roblox as it is. But everyone's favorite, we talked about it, so let's go. All right, it's what's for lunch. And today, it's been a pretty good day today. There has been obviously a lot of chicken dinner winners, as you can see. And if you're excited about chicken dinner winners, then I'm going to hit this for you. And you may also be excited for lunch as well, because today's lunch, although nicely spiced, I'm hoping, is chicken once again. So congratulations, everybody.
What?
Looking forward to chicken on a day like today.
Don't believe
And
it.
today it is, and unfortunately for Adara, she will not be partaking in this because it is way too spicy for her. It is grilled jerk chicken.
Holla at your boy.
Which seems very, very mild, but, to each their own, with Caribbean rice, which would be rice and peas, and steamed green beans. So sounds like a very healthy and tasty lunch today. So we'll see if that, especially if you like that green bean action, which I do.
I will be stealing some of that jerk chicken because we're not going to get jerk chicken on our salad, obviously.
Yep.
That's you don't put jerk chicken on a salad. I mean, I guess you could do whatever the heck you want to do, but that sounds absolutely delicious to me. So I'll be partaking in a little bit of that. Shout out to everyone in the chat that was yelling about that Roblox. It was like I was about to say something.
Just rip
No,
it.
I was going to say it if you didn't say it, but Roblox is going to. I don't want to jinx it. I'll knock on wood. Roblox could close above the 50 period today if it holds on to these levels.
Liking that.
So it's 41.40 that it's breaking out from. That's your 50 period on the daily. It's already held at 200. Actually looks like 43 would be a pretty heavy breakout for Roblox. That's a good looking chart, man, for a test back at 47. But we'll see in the afternoon when things calm down a little bit. I want to go hunting for we already talked about some places to short pops. One of them was here. We did just barely miss the entry into Boeing. I'll back off and be patient waiting for another one. We just want to be able to pick our spots in there. AMD did stop out that one time. It hasn't really gotten back to that 203 just yet, so that's still looking like it could be in the pocket. Nvidia, that breakout at 80, couldn't get past 82s. You've got some higher lows in here, not necessarily clean. I could see VWAP being a test. And that's that 865 price coming back in again if it gets to VWAP. Rivian, we jumped out of it, and it's still right back up at that top, but it failed 13.5 on the actual breakout. So I'd look for a dip, maybe the quarters or the 13 evens, and then we'd rinse and repeat. So like I said, it's been a productive warning. Just got to be patient with some of these re-entry trades. Looking for some new names out there. I don't want to chase Moderna up there as a name that's running. David Kovac saying Pfizer. I know they were having a good morning. They're talking up their cancer, their exposure to cancer drugs and whatnot, but that's not that exciting for me. You're still underneath resistance on Pfizer. This needs to get above $28, as you can see here. 50 period resistance at 28. What do you think it failed today? 28. Yeah. Pfizer can break $28. I think it's got some room to rally, but not exciting until it actually makes that breakout.
All right. You might be wondering, so I did a similar mistake there. I made keystroke there, but got right back in. I tried to put an offer up near 485 for Meta because we wanted to get some more short, but now the market's above VWAP here and really starting to cook upside. So we'll hold on to this short and wait to see what happens at 485, give it to like the 485.50. But if this market really gets cooking, then we know that Meta can go, man. I mean, it's down 4.5% right now. And here we go. So now it's starting to cook. So watch out for 485, trying to break long right now on Meta. Here it goes. So we're just going to try another short. Oh, watch out. Oh, no, we're about to get stopped out. 485.50 breaks, and we are out of that one. So we'll see if that does come in or down right now. But it looks like it's going to the other way and break to the long side as this market is taking VWAP right now. And that's a very, very dangerous thing to be in. We don't necessarily want to be in shorts when the market starts to rip like this. So we'll be very, very careful here with this trade. And in fact, start to take some out right now. Bang, bang, bang. Right, taking some out to the downside right now as it just failed up there at 485, but we just took some out in the 70s. So licking our wounds a little bit here. If it tanks, great, but we just took some out there for flat on Meta, hoping that we can get a bigger push down. Here it comes. We'll take some, yeah. We'll take some right there on Meta, as there it is. There's the flush back down for that one. So that was good, man. And this is, again, we're learning every single day on the show. You know, like, I don't need to hold that all the way up to 485.50. If we can preserve some capital and get that out when it comes back, when it comes back down like that, then that's exactly what we do. I look over at my net and it's dirt off my shoulder. So that's the whole point, you know, take it out, especially these big bad names. You're not going to hold Meta for 50-cent hits or anything like that. You're going to have to be more aggressive because you get 50-cent winners in a second. The spread on Meta is 30 cents. So There it is, but we do get hit on that last piece. But there we go for Meta, trying to make some moves right now.
Yeah, Meta is flying. Nvidia can't seem to hold 880. Like I either wanted holding 880 and breaking out the top, or pulling back into 70s or VWAP for a re-entry back into this one. It's just not giving you the goods. And Boeing can't even. I mean, look, it's back up to VWAP. We missed this curl here. We're looking to get it on the way back in. Now that it's getting close to VWAP, I just need to see it look for a top. If it makes that little bit of a curl like it did there, then I'm going to jump into the short. I don't want to be long Boeing today. If I'm long Boeing today, then it must be in the 180s. Oh, yeah, I can't even see another way that I'd be long. Maybe something above VWAP, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I do think it's starting to put in that curl, so I have my eyes locked and loaded on it, but I want to be patient. Honest Abe. Hey, what up? Great name. What do we think about a PayPal 60 break? I don't know, because I haven't looked at PayPal today. Adara was talking a little bit about Square, or Block, as they would say. For a 60 break, that doesn't look, on first glance, that doesn't look bad, but when in doubt, zoom out. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of is breakouts into overhead resistance, but I think you've got some room to like 60s or 70s. So if I was taking a break, I'd usually want it breaking the actual high of the day, and there's a little bit of room up there. It's not bad, it just doesn't really, that's not a setup for me at this time of day. Let's go to Adara. I believe we've got money talks. USD was making some moves.
Yep.
USD still below 103 here, but trying to climb back up. Right now we're at 102.88, and we are trying to make a little bit of a recovery from those massive moves down on Wednesday and Thursday of last week, while we had Fed Chair Jerome Powell in front of Congress and the Senate. So trying to make a big move back up here, but still not too much happening. We do have lots of economic data, though, to keep an eye on heading into the rest of this week, including a CPI print coming tomorrow, PPI coming on Thursday, and Michigan consumer sentiment coming on Friday. So definitely some more things down the pipeline, including the Fed meeting next week. So lots to keep an eye on right now, but not too much happening at the second here with the DXY. Also worth noting, the Japanese yen to the USD, so the JPY to USD relationship. We have been seeing a bit of a move up here for the JPY against the USD, and this one's worth keeping an eye on as well, with the Bank of Japan set to meet next week, actually talk of stopping the negative interest rates because they did see a positive revision for their growth numbers. So could be continued strength for the JPY here against the USD, guys.
Yes, sir. And thank you very much for that, Adair. With 7 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go until we pop on over to the midday. Going to be talking about some volatility and how to trade. But never fear. Because if you want to follow along with the trades while you're learning about volatility, we do have back up and running. It's the dashboard on More Trader TV live. So check that one out. It will have the positions. I'm only in Boeing, so that's correct. Sean is long Apple. So that's correct, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so that looks pretty good. And you'll have the news in there. You'll have your biggest movers of the day. I almost like some way that would not only show some of the small cap runners, but we'll figure that one out. Economic calendar. You do have some bond auctions at 1 o'clock, so you'll see that on the calendar. So follow along. It'll be there the entire time. You can always ask us in the chat for clarifications and stuff if you have any questions there.
Bears versus Bulls.
Okay, so Nvidia, bye-bye. Like 2 seconds,
it's crazy.
I'm not making this up. Remember I was saying in Nvidia, I'm looking for Nvidia at VWAP? It just looked like it was going to break 875 when I was geared up to buy the dip in front of VWAP on. That's the last thing I was looking at before I just talked about that. I look over and Nvidia's at $885. So obviously I won't be buying the dip into VWAP on this right now because Nvidia is deciding to rip faces off. 85 has already been a break. Maybe we look for the dip into 875 here if that's going to be the next trade. Seriously, Nvidia? It was just tracking into a dip into VWAP, I swear.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not wrong about that. Because I'm watching here AMD as well, up to 204. Finally getting, look, AMD is going to be my number one name, and good thing we got out of it, that's for sure. As that's still going to the upside. See, we hit it early and it worked, and then late it worked. Well, middle of the period it worked, but then late in the period it did not, and we got in and out there. And thankfully, we're able to get in and out of that. And now we'll wait. I was waiting at 203.75. It just got to 203.50 there. And again, we're just trying to short it off of sort of Friday's closing price. You see where that big event was there. 208 was where that was. So right now we'll see if we get some love back in on that. Oh, this just came in and came out. I didn't even. So we shorted ARM in front of 130, but with this market really blasting up, we'll only take 30-cent hit there as it ripped, or 25-cent hit. We got out at 25s there. So nice hit there on ARM, but it didn't have a last hit there as it broke above 130, which was our indicated level. So the market's really starting to go upside again now. We just took Apple there on these bottom picks. So here comes Apple right back up to the upside. We'll see if we get something out at 56. So there it is. Nice take on Apple, right back in again to some of these bottoms for AAPL. So let's see if that one can kiss that bottom and then hopefully get going back up as we go back up to the upside right there.
Feel it with a kiss.
Yeah, I just got a kiss from my wife, so that's why I said that. So shout out to her as well as the kids are at hockey camp right now. So, all right, nice move. It's March break around here, so they got a week off. All right, so there's 60s coming through again on Apple. Let's see if we get an out. Give me that out at 60. There it is, 15-cent winner there for Apple. We'll short AMD, sorry, excuse my voice, in and around 203.75, and that's coming in right now. Recent high on AMD happening as we speak as Nvidia. Nvidia's going to take 900. Probably
It's got to get to
today.
890 first.
I don't know if there's news there, but like we're really starting to pop up on these chip names.
So I can't get a dip, so I take the local break on Nvidia. I'm just going to take scalp trades on this thing on the way if it never gives me the bigger dip price. So I'm going to go to 888 here. I don't like breakouts at this time of day, so I'm going to do what I should have done last time, which is just scalp out the entire thing on Nvidia. Boeing looks like it's going to take out VWAP, so we'll probably get stopped out of our second trade in Boeing. Like I'm expecting these mini breaks to do what it did here. Mini breakout, just grab your couple of bucks and then pull back in. I think 880 or 875 is where I want to re-engage, so I'm back into only Boeing. But as you mentioned, it is March break, and my wife, I had a terrible sleep last night. I'm tired, not because of the time shift.
No, I had a terrible sleep last night too.
No, but so my wife was dropping our daughter off at grandma camp, which is my in-laws, just went up north. But she had to then take my nephew, her sister's son, all the way back to Guelph. So
Right.
I just said, look, I'm one of those. I said, just message me when you leave. I just want to know what time you left, so I have an idea.
I mean, you're a caring husband? Oh my God, Neil.
No, I don't want to call myself a worrywart or anything.
No,
But
caring
then-
husband, I would
But then
use.
she didn't hit send, so it's like I'm going to go to sleep last night, and I had not heard from her. And I know
Right.
she's driving all the way up to Guelph and then coming back, which is, it's a couple of hours one way and then another hour back home.
To
So I
Guelph?
couldn't. No, from Aurelia to Guelph,
Right,
and then
right,
from
right.
Guelph back
that's,
here.
That's decent.
And I hadn't heard from her, so I'm having all kinds of trouble getting to sleep. By the time I actually fall asleep, for real, is when she got back home at like midnight. So I then get up in like 4.5 hours. So I didn't get a lot of sleep. No, I don't track her location, Ram. I'm not, what? Ram said in my ear, I need to track my wife's location like a regular person. Is that, I don't think that's
I can
regular.
track, I can do that to my wife.
I think we have, you know what, there's an app that we have that I don't think we ever use, but you're probably not wrong about that. But anyways, I didn't get a great sleep last night over it. But it is what it is. The time shift, you get used to it. Like I find like the worst is in the morning yesterday.
Yeah.
For me, my daughter had some issues with it because she still woke up at a regular time. She didn't sleep enough. Ram needs a doctor apparently. It's for safety, TikTok. I understand, you know what? I know there's an app that she's said and we should have it, but I'll get on that at some point. You guys aren't wrong about that.
Yeah. Well, I think you could just do it with Google now, can't you?
I probably can. Like we're both Androids. I'm sure there's something that we could obviously be using, and I'm sure you guys will let me know in the chat any second now. With 2 minutes to go, I want to buy a dip in Nvidia if we can get it. I would hope to not get stopped out on Boeing. And oh yeah, it was one. What was it? Oh, Google. Before we get out of here, Alphabet. I'm going to try and pick up Alphabet on VWAP. Alphabet's been holding steady up 2%. Look how well it's been holding VWAP. I'm going to buy the dip on Alphabet at VWAP. I don't know why we hadn't been doing this. Look how clean that's been all morning long on Google.
All right, guys. So far, so good. We should have shorted some AMD there. It's trying to go back up to the upside. We'll short a little bit against 204 right now. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you to everybody up there. It's been such a great day, and we just want to thank everybody for watching. It's 10:58 right now. You're going to hear Learn to Trade from the Midday Show, both Adara and Sharif, ready to get locked and loaded. And then we'll be back here at 2 o'clock. So that's all good, man. I'm going to go right after this, go for a little walk around as I always do, call the fam, make sure everything is all good on that one. And it's 11 o'clock already. So what a good day it's been here one more time today. So just, again, Rivian is something I'm going to be looking at. We nailed that 1250 dip, but unfortunately we didn't have the bid. So we had the bid at 1250, it went to 1255. Congratulations, Renata, for that. I'm going to cancel that. That was another long. The other long that we wanted was Alibaba. Obviously, that got started early, and then we could have bought it back at the 50 period and should have. Missed opportunity there. We'll see if Alibaba gets back down to 75. Doesn't really look like it. And let's just nurse this long right now on Apple. So we'll see if we're able to get any love here for Apple long. And if not, we have our outs breaking down through 172 or change on Apple. So far so good. We're just long right now. We've gotten some out. We did pick a nice little level there at the 200 period to get long at 30s and then got them out here in the 50s again. So that's kind of what we're doing with Apple, and all is good back over on this side. So, hey man, it'll be jerk chicken. So maybe Adara might give it a second round shot there today. She is going to try because she's a trooper, I just heard there. So we'll try that, and yeah, we'll be back at 2 o'clock.
I think she was a little bit surprised by it, but now you get prepared.
That's right.
It actually isn't that spicy. If you're a caterer to an office, you're not going to have ridiculously spicy jerk chicken because it has to be able to fulfill everybody's palate. So we'll enjoy it. We'll come back at 2. If you want to check the positions, remember, More Trader TV Live, the dashboard is up and running, so you can always check that out. But for now, let's go learn about some volatility.
Yeah, why not?
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. I'm Sharif, and that is Adara, and we're going to wait for everyone to migrate on over from the other stream. We already have Isaac Roberts gracing us with his presence in the chat, saying good morning to you, Adara.
Good morning.
Nuno Rios as well. We got J-Sack? Okay, good morning, everyone. Mr. Long Shorts, JC Finance, Pedro Khan, Nick D, Ron John, Andrew Chow, Billy Turner, Ponzi Fonzie. We got Chef Joe. We got T-Money, baby. We got Ariane. We got Callum Mitchell Miller. Sel, Matt Downdy. We got Monty T, Impulsive, Charan, Peter, Esu, RH, Cass, Darwin, Adam Duluth. 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. No one is going to know what I'm talking about there, but that's all good. We got Paul. We got Oliver. We got the Gauntlet, baby. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. I can't believe how many songs there are for each dude in the Premier League. This is insane to me.
You have no idea.
It's a new thing I'm learning.
You have no idea.
But yeah, I mean, hello to everybody in the chat and seeing everyone in here. So happy to be back. Happy to look at these crazy markets. How are you doing? What are you looking at?
I'm
How was your
all
weekend?
right. It was okay. I mean, I'm completely thrown off by this whole daylight savings time thing. I'm not the only one, but I'll probably be better tomorrow. I tried to weasel in a midday nap yesterday. Didn't work exactly as I thought it would. I thought it'd give me a bit more, energy and rigor for the day. Such was not the case today, but these markets don't care about my energy. They don't care about my lack of rigor. They care that we're back above 18,000 or thereabouts today. We're doing the dance with no pants at that 100-point level yet again. And anybody who's been looking at the future today knows exactly what I've been looking at. 18,000 to the high side, 17.9 to the downside, and it's been bouncing off one or the other all day, all morning, or thereabouts. I mean, the IB low was 17.908, but we did actually break 17.9. The low on the day is 17.890. In case you're wondering, I'm looking at the March 15th contract for the last day. Tomorrow I will be rolling over to the new one. But for today, we're going to be looking at this 18,000. Well, because really the reason is I've been given great levels off which to work. 17.9 to the downside, 18,000 to the top side. Now, if you break and hold above 18,000, this will present us with a good opportunity here to take something long. Otherwise, we'll look for that rinse and repeat range trade that it's been providing us all day. We'll have a look as the show goes on to see what we'll do with the future there. Bit of an interesting day for Nvidia. It looked like it was going to continue to head south, but now it's back in Greensville, breaking through that 875 again. You saw the big kahunas talk about that. But we're going to look at some other small cappers that are running on the day. Several triple-digit winners today at Dara, so we'll be talking about a lot. So what are you looking at here before I start the lesson of the day.
Yeah, small cappers definitely are winning today. I'm involved in this Nova Nordisk short. I saw a range. I said, yes, sign me up, please. I do have the weight loss names permanently on my side charts because, as Sri has said, sometimes I like trading the GLP-1s, just who I am. My one issue, though, is I think this might be more of like a reverse head and shoulders move than I initially was intending. And I say that because we get into that area of that 131.40 where we had that earlier move back up. And we come back almost to my point of entry. If we break above this 131.9, I'm going to have to get out. But I'm going to be cognizant. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'd like to take out some profit at the bottom of this range, but this range might be moving against me. Going to stay nimble and going to hopefully stay in this trade.
Sounds good. Nimble is good. All right, let's talk about identifying volatile markets. We're going to be talking about volatility all week. Today, we're going to look at what the earmarks are of a volatile market and what to look for and what indicators to use, as well as what other tools to use. So let's get started. So obviously, goes without saying that the thrill of day trading can be amplified during volatile markets, but believe it or not, so is the risk. So knowing how to identify these periods is crucial to any day trader. Here are some key ways to spot these volatile markets. So news and events, first and foremost. So big one is significant economic releases like interest rate changes or employment numbers like non-farm payrolls, or even CPI that we're getting tomorrow. I believe we're getting CPI tomorrow, aren't we? Yeah, thank you. These can all trigger volatility as investors react and reposition their holdings, as well as major company earnings reports or geopolitical events. These can create crazy market swings. Keep a calendar up of upcoming events to monitor news feeds and stay ahead of the potential volatility. On this phone right here, thanks to Affirm that I'm paying. Oh, I've only got one more payment left on this phone. This is fantastic news. On my phone, on my calendar, I've put in the Nvidia GTC conference that we have from Monday to Thursday next week, all the while knowing that we could get volatility on Nvidia during those days. So you got to mark the economic calendars, mark the interest rate decisions, the NFPs, etc. Have those up on your calendar so you're aware of them the previous day so you can prepare for them. You can get all your futures levels ready, etc., etc., etc. So you're looking for economic releases, news releases, interest rate changes, employment numbers. You're looking for earnings, geopolitical events as well. Keep your eye on all that stuff. That it all has effects on the market. Price action, very important as well in IDing volatile markets. So you're looking for erratic price movements. Are stocks experiencing a sudden jump or a sudden dip than what would be typical for that name on that particular day? This might indicate increased buying or selling pressure, which is obviously a sign of volatility. So keep your eye on the price action and, make comparisons to how that instrument is trading on the day versus how you've seen it trade in the past. Is it trading outside its average true range, etc.? You can look at any number of these indicators. And some technical indicators that you can use obviously is, I just prefaced it, ATR, average true range. This is a measure of the average price fluctuation over a set period. So a rising ATR suggests increasing volatility. So typically the average true range is calculated over a 14-day period or so. The standard is, you can obviously alter that. The standard, though, is 14. So if you're looking at the ATR for a particular name and the price action just keeps pumping up, the ATR is going to increase as well. So a rising ATR could be a signal of increasing volatility in the market in general or just that particular name. Bollinger Bands, also really interesting tool for determining or detecting volatility. These bands widen when volatility increases and they contract when they're calmer. So I think, maybe when I read this initially, I was thinking, just look at Bollinger Bands and then you can kind of have an idea of where the stock is trading relative to its overall range. But that's not what it's being used for here. Let me just put in Bollinger Bands. What we're looking for here is the space between the Bollinger Bands. And why isn't it showing me my Bollinger Bands that I've so kindly requested over here? Hello, computer. It is. It's holding out, Adara. That's no good. All right. Well, I'll set this up after, but the whole point here with Bollinger Bands is that when they widen, you're typically getting more volatility. When they're contracting, when they're closer together, less volatility. Like here's a case in point. Look at Apple today. This is the 5-minute look on Apple. Don't make too much of this, but just to give you an idea, the blue line on the top is the top end of the Bollinger Band. The purple line on the bottom is the bottom end. You can see here it's widened as the volatility is starting to increase, but in the pre-market, when the price range was tight, the bands are closer together. So when you look at that on the daily or the weekly, it can often preface or give you indications that the volatility for that particular name is increasing because the bands are expanding. But you also have the VIX, which is actually very interesting. I learned something about the VIX from our friend Josh Brown there on the compound on the weekend. He was talking about how to use the VIX specifically. We'll get into that a little bit later. But the volatility index was created by the Chicago Board of Exchange, the CBOE, where the futures are traded, as a numeric measure of market volatility. It gauges the future bets investors are making on the direction of individual assets or the wider market. A high VIX reading implies a riskier market, or just, in general, it's not so straightforward like that. But keep your eye on the VIX. Trading volume. Also super important. Market volatility often coincides with higher trading volume. So a sudden surge in volume compared to the usual activity for a stock or asset class can be a sign of the volatility is on the horizon. So keep your eye on trading volume as well for an indication that market volatility is coming. And market sentiment. The last but not least, news articles, social media, analyst opinions, these can all contribute to market sentiment. So be very cognizant of that, and be aware of any widespread bullishness or bearishness, as strong emotions can also fuel volatility. Just some basic stuff to keep your eye on when you are looking to gauge volatility, Adara.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too is like volatility isn't, as Neil and Sean were saying earlier today too, it's not really necessarily bad for day traders, right? It's kind of like the food. Like if you don't have a volatile market, it kind of gets a little bit slower. And also, as we've discussed during certain weeks on trends or on certain indicators, there are certain indicators that work better if you have a trending or more volatile market, right? So there's certainly always aspects to keep in mind with regards to volatility and these markets. And that's what I have to say right now. But yeah, I think it's really exciting lesson, really excited for this week, because I think it's kind of one of the, I saw someone in the chat named Bread Butter. I think this is kind of maybe one of the breads and butters of the market, right, in terms of indicators. So I think I'm really excited to get more into this as the week unfolds. And I know some people mentioning as well, VXX, we need to look up exactly what that is, but I know that might be a different, so this is a short-term futures for the VIX. Let's look at the VXX, because we're talking about the VIX, we're talking about volatility. Let's take a look at this. Is this on? Yeah, there we go. So this one, it's interesting too. You can actually trade like versions of this. Actually, 4 million shares too on the day. So nice volume here for VXX. Yeah, we had a little bit of support coming to resistance to that 1466 area. But yeah, regardless, just interesting too how you can trade and look at different versions of the VIX or the volatility index. And yeah. Interesting. Listen, what are you looking at right now?
I'm looking at Nvidia. It just came right into VWAP. It didn't give me too long there at 870, and now it's back up in 873. I was just literally trying to put my order in which to punch, and this one is acting like a small cap gapper in its transient. It's so transient. I can't talk, guys. I'm tired, so you're going to have to forgive me today. But this one dipped right into 870. Here comes 874 as it looks to go green yet again. I had my eye on that VWAP level initially, and then it kind of cleared it with a vigor. So then I started looking at this white horizontal line, that 875 or high 874s. That's where we closed out on Friday. So that's always an important level for me. But VWAP held to the dang T. It did actually. I saw some prints below 870. I did. I saw some in the 869s, but so brief were they, I don't even think we crossed on the ask. So aggressive moves on Nvidia on the day. We're going to keep watching this one. Perhaps it presents us another dip trade opportunity near that VWAP area. Okay. We also did the shimmy wick dance with the future at 18,000. So we broke above 18,000, but we kept wicking into that 200 period and closing at or below that 18,000 level. We closed actually a couple of candles over here on the 5, closed above 18,000. And now we're dipping right back again below